Hello everyone, Lego Fan 14 here with a very different kind of video now. I usually don't do videos based on news, not that aren't Lego related, but this was something so special I needed to talk about it. Now it's time to talk about the dumpster fire that is being Warner Bros. And Cartoon Network at this moment. So let's begin. So, around 2 weeks ago, we got news that Warner was fusing with Discovery because Discovery purchased them after NT&T, the original owners of Warner Bros. Decided to sell the company after the box office bombs that they had in 2021 with their same day release strategy on HBO Max. But now, what Discovery's been doing are very aggressive changes to the way that Warner Bros. Is working, specifically with the way that they make content, since now, they're focusing on theatrical movies, but they're pushing HBO Max aside. And everything started with one big bombshell of news. Canceling the Batgirl movie. Now, this movie has been in the works for a while now. It was supposed to release late this year, but it was pushed back to 2023. Mainly because of the situation with The Flash. And since the movie getting constantly delayed for you-know-who, at the end, it turned out that the movie was almost completely finished. It just needed a couple of retouches. They even made test screenings where they said that the audience liked it, but they didn't really understand it, since the movie was going to have Michael Keaton's Batman in it. And, well, things got complicated because The Flash is basically the movie that restart the DC Cinematic Universe and gonna make things right again. But now, with the movie constantly being delayed to the point that you even wonder if it's gonna happen, that they decided to push back Batgirl. But now we got news that the movie has been officially cancelled, with Leslie Grace as Batgirl, as Barbara Gordon. But now we know that the movie is never going to be released. Why? Because right now Warner doesn't really focus on doing stuff for HBO Max. They want to do something for theaters. But the fact that they canceled this movie when almost finished is baffling. You might ask, why didn't they simply just plop it on the HBO Max or even release it in theaters if they're focusing on theatrical releases? Well, it turns out the movie wasn't high quality enough so it could be released in theaters, but it was still too high budgeted enough to be released as a TV movie. So basically, the movie had no place to be released apart from the streaming service, which they right now don't want to do. So they basically canned this movie forever, which is definitely a shame. I really want to see Batgirl. But Batgirl was not the only victim. We also got news that they also canceled the Scooby-Doo prequel movie called Scooby Holiday Haunt, which was basically a sequel to the 2020 movie Scoob, which attempted to do a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, and we really haven't seen much of it after Scoob. It didn't really get the best reviews, but turns out this movie was meant to be a prequel special of when Mystery Incorporated just begun with the characters as children. It was going to be basically a Christmas special, but again, it was cut, which this movie was actually almost completely finished. So you can definitely see a pattern here with HBO Max original movies being canceled, even when they were so close to being finished. But then you wonder, how much are they losing with this? Well, it turns out with Batgirl, they already spent $90 million on it. And then with Scoob Holiday Haunt, they had $40 million. So that's like $130 million literally thrown out the window. Money that's lost forever. They say they're not going to release it ever. They don't have the way to release it now. So basically, these films are now lost media. So, lost media searchers, you got a ton of stuff to work with. But now, why is this happening? Why did they start canceling these movies? And it wasn't just the movies. Recently, we got word that they have been taking down shows and movies from HBO Max. Shows and movies that have already been there from the start, but are now being pulled from the catalog. And it's not just being pulled from the catalog. They're almost turning these shows into lost media. And you might wonder, what shows? Well, here's a list, and it's going to be really painful for a lot of us. Oh, all I want to mention is that I'm only going to be mentioning Cartoon Network shows, because if we start talking about Cartoonito and The live action shows, it would basically take us forever. So I'm only going to mention the ones that to me are the most relevant, which are Infinity Train, Summer Camp Island, Mao Mao Here's a Pure Heart, Victor and Valentino, the Flintstone spin-off series Yabba Dabba Dinosaurs. Okay, this one isn't really from Cartoon Network, but I really need to mention it. There's a couple of Sesame Street episodes, selected Sesame Street episodes, and the Not Too Late Show with Elmo. There's the regular show creators' newest series, adult series Close Enough, which was already an HBO Max exclusive. Aquaman, King of Atlantis. This one, which I didn't even know was there, so I remember watching a long time ago. I didn't know it was from Warner. It's the Ollie and Moon Show. And I mentioned I wasn't going to be talking about other shows that are Cartoon Network, but I just wanted to mention that they're going to take down a lot of Cartoonito related shows, which are basically Cartoon Network's preschool block, the most relevant to me being Little Helen from Ellen DeGeneres. And last, but certainly not least, OKKO Let's Be Heroes. So that's a bit of the list. It's online if you want to check it out. And you may be wondering, who is doing all of this? Why is Warner Bros. Doing this? Well, first off, we gotta address David Zaslav, the executive director of Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, he has been doing some, this, okay? He's been basically a person who canceled Batgirl, Scoo Holiday Haunt, and all of this. And you may be wondering, why is he doing this? Is this some sort of secret plan to sabotage Warner Bros. And basically their whole company? Well, first off, we gotta mention why this is happening. We know who's doing it, but why? Well, first off, David Zaslav's priority right now are theatrically released movies. That's why we got stuff like The Batman and Elvis. But what has been going on recently is that it seems like he doesn't really care about the streaming part of Warner, which that's why this is happening. They already started removing a lot of other movies and shows, which I don't really need to mention since I don't really care much about them. But again, as I mentioned, a lot of Cartoon Network shows are also being taken down. And now, why is this happening? Well, because of taxes, okay? Basically, they're going to be paying less taxes by removing these shows and movies from HBO Max, since they have to pay taxes for every single show and movie they have. And if they start removing them, well, they're going to pay less taxes. But the point is that it? Is that the only reason why they're doing it? Well, it turns out that the plan is to merge Warner Bros. With HBO Max to Discovery's platform, Discovery Plus, which had those sort of unscripted television shows and stuff like that. But nothing really, I guess, sort of like game shows, romantic comedies and such. But the point is that, well, the plan is to merge these two companies, merge these two services. But by doing that, they are starting to remove content. Something else I want to mention, that even before this purge of animated shows started, a while ago they also announced that they'd be removing Final Space, which I think was meant to be like a Fox show or something like that, but it ended up in HBO Max, and now that has been also taken down. I think here's where people start to get worried about it, since right now there's no really legal way to watch it, unless you have the DVD. But is this really the right thing to do? And most importantly, what's going to happen to these shows and to us, the fans? Well, it turns out that what they've been doing has been taking down these videos, the videos for these shows. So, like with Infinity Train, which actually, alongside I think Mao Mao, Here's a Pure Heart, released their pilot episode on YouTube to see if it could work and turn into a full-length series, that got taken down, alongside all videos related to Infinity Train, and also related to OKKO Let's Be Heroes. So now, they're basically trying to remove all sites of these shows on the internet. And it's not just that, they're even stopping the sales of DVDs and basically domestic releases of these shows. So it's not just removing them from their platform to pay less taxes. They're basically trying to disappear these shows. They're basically trying to turn them into lost media. And what did the creators of the shows think? Well, of course, They're very upset. And it's understandable. Their shows, what they spent hours, weeks, months, years of their lives working on, being taken down just at a moment. Of course, they're not happy at all. Because, again, it was their work, it was their dreams to make these shows. In some cases, these movies. They didn't just work so they get paid. They worked to make something they wanted, something they wanted to see, and wanted others to enjoy as well. So, what could be next? Well, the future doesn't really seem that bright anymore for Warner and HBO Max. Right now, they still have some movies in theaters where it's supposed to be getting some more. But the point is, what's going to happen with these shows, with these movies? Well, I don't really know anymore. Cartoon Network is soon going to celebrate 30 years. But what is there going to be celebrated if all of their shows have been taken down? And sadly, Cartoon Network's only depending on 3 shows at this point. Only 3 shows are still being released, or still being renewed. The only ones that are still making new episodes, which are Teen Titans Go, Craig of the Creek, and We Baby Bears. With Teen Titans Go being the very despised reboot of the beloved 2000s DC Comics show, We Baby Bears being a spin-off to one of the most popular 2010s Cartoon Network shows, We Bear Bears, and Craig the Creek being the only true original. We're still supposed to be getting so many new projects, but now the question is, are they really going to happen? If they canceled shows and movies that were already soon to be finished, what promises they won't cancel something that is still in production? Right now, there are so many shows and movies being made to the point that the future seemed bright for Cartoon Network. Things seemed to be getting better with so many shows being greenlit at once. With stuff Batman, Caped Crusader, Unicorn Warriors Eternal, directed by Jenny Tarkovsky, the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack. The whole Hanna-Barbera Studios thing, where they were going to start doing things like reviving the Amazing World Gumball for a movie and a new series. And all the other Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera related media, like, we were supposed to be getting so much new Looney Tunes content. New shorts from the Looney Tunes cartoons, some movies like Bye Bye Bunny, the first ever Looney Tunes musical movie, and a Porky Pig and Daffy Duck movie the day the Earth blew up. And some other HBO Max animated shows, which are still supposed to be greenlit in production, like C.H. Greenblatt's Hanna-Barbera series Jellystone. But now, the future, we don't even know what's going to happen to these shows. Are they still going to be in production? Or going to be canceled? We don't know. Before we end this video, all I want to mention is that it took me almost a week to finish this video. By the time I was finishing it, turns out a new information came in before I was able to finish the video. This comes from Owen Dennis, the creator of Infinity Train, who mentioned, finally, some of the reasons on why this is happening, on why these shows are getting removed from HBO Max and whatnot. And one of the main reasons he gives is residuals. You might wonder, what are those? Well, it's basically the money that the show creators are paid after making their shows. It's basically the money they get after giving the networks their shows. But it turns out that it's basically sort of taxes that the company has to pay them. It turns out that by removing their shows from HBO Max and almost completely from circulation, it means that they don't have to pay them this residual, which of course is also affecting them, the creators, because they're people, they also need to eat. When Dennis mentioned this, and that supposedly this was going to happen like a week later, so everyone could be told what was going to happen, because this basically took even the show creators by surprise. So this just proves how worse things have got, but at least we know another reason why this is happening, to not pay that extra money to the creators, and at the same time to avoid paying more taxes. So, what can we expect now? I want to expect the best, but I can't really tell anymore. All I recommend to do is, if you have a home media released of any of these shows or movies, I recommend keeping it. Or if you don't really want it, sell it to someone who does want it, because right now things are about to get really bad. Things might get even worse now, because The plan is to make Warner Bros. Big again. The plan is to basically start from scratch and make things great again. They want to bring back big name brands like DC Comics. And how are they going to do that if instead of embracing the media they already have, embracing their franchises, they're basically mistreating them, especially animated shows? And what's going to happen to Cartoon Network? So many shows got canceled so quickly to the point that a lot of them were left on cliffhangers. Some already announced future seasons that we'll never get to see, like Mao Mao. And they announced season 2 back in the 2020 Comic Con. It was official. They were working on season 2. But we don't really know what's going to happen anymore. So, that's it for this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments about all this situation. What do you expect? Can you please help me find a home media cover release of Mao Mao Here's a Pre-Her, an official one? And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. And that's it. Thanks.